This video is going to show you how to use Google Meet so you can have a live video conference with your students or your colleagues. And so I am here at meet.google.com, and this is where you can create and join a meeting. But I'm actually going to show you two other ways to create a meeting because these will allow you to schedule them in advance and easily share that link with your students. So I'm going to go to Google Classroom. If you're using Google Classroom, this is the best way to connect students with Google Meet because these Google Classroom meetings are only accessible to students when you as the teacher are also present. So you can see here in my Google Classroom that on the home page, I have a Meet link to get to Google Meet. You do have to turn this on in your Google Classroom settings. So if you don't see your Google Meet link here, you'll click on the settings wheel and scroll down and you'll see something about Meet that will allow you to turn that on and make it visible to students. This gives you a link for your Google Meet classroom, and this will always be the same, but again, students can only access it when you're present. So you can let students know that you're going to have a live meeting at 10 o'clock, and the link will be right here at the top of Google Classroom for them to access. If you're not using Google Classroom, you can still schedule Google Meets in advance by using your calendar. So if I go to Google Calendar, I can click on the date that I want to schedule the meeting. Oops, sorry, it's reloading. So I'm going to click on the date I want to schedule the meeting. Put in your information, and then you'll see add location and add conferencing. You want to click add conferencing and choose Hangouts Meet. When you click that, it's going to automatically generate your Google Meet link. So you can use this for students to access a Google Meet as well that you've scheduled ahead of time. And then you could even invite students through Google Calendar, or you could copy this link and share this out with students. You can start a meeting from the Google Meet page itself, but I do recommend using Google Classroom or Google Calendar so that you can schedule it ahead of time. When you are ready to start your Google Meet, go ahead and click the link from Google Classroom or from your Google Calendar or from the meet.google.com page. You can click Start Meeting. It's going to have you check your camera and microphone so I can see that my camera and mic are working. And then you're going to click Join Now. I'm actually already in the room in another tab, so I'm going to click over to that one. And here I am. So once you're in the room, you'll see other people as they join as well. It says that Amy Jimenez is also here because I'm using a second device to show you what it looks like with multiple people in the room. And that's my cat here on the other camera. So I'm going to show you a few different features in Google Meet, and I'm going to hide some of these things. There we go. Okay, so in Google Meet, you will see down here at the bottom your join code. So this is what students need to be able to access the meeting. And you can click on that and see a little more information, the specific link. People can also dial in on a phone so they can at least listen into the meeting as well. And you can copy that and send that out to students. Here you can see you have your microphone and your camera access. I've turned my microphone off so that you can hear me in the recording. And so there's probably a little lag between what you're hearing and seeing right now. And then this is the leave call. So you don't want to do that until you're completely done, but you can turn off your mic and camera access. You can also turn on captions, which will turn into text, whatever you're saying. So that could be a nice feature for individuals to turn on as well. And it's not working right now because it can't hear me because I turned the mic off. And you can present. So I'm going to click present now, and you can choose to present your entire screen or a window. I'm going to click a window and then choose the program that you want to present. So now I could present to my students as I share my screen here in the meeting. I don't know if you're seeing that. Here we go. Okay. I pinned myself, so that's why We're not seeing the presentation. Okay, so now we can see the presentation. I can still see myself up here. I can toggle between the different people here that are all in the meeting, and everyone can see my screen as I go through my presentation if you want to present slides or something on another website. Down here at the bottom, we have these 3 dots where you have additional options. You can record your meeting. So this is great. You can have a live meeting with your students and then record that. So those who aren't there or students who want to come back later, they can come back and watch that recording. You can change your layout. So this is what you're seeing on your screen. If you want to see everyone tiled together, you can see all the people in your room. If you want to see people over on the right, you have that option. I'm going to stop presenting here. And you have full screen captions, additional settings. So you can always check those 3 dots to find more information. And then there's 3 Chrome extensions. Let me click away from my cat here. There's 3 Chrome extensions that I added here that add some functions for you as a teacher. And so the first one you can see over on the right, this is called Nod. And you can go to the Chrome Web Store and search Nod, N-O-D, for Google Meet and install this in your Chrome browser for free. And these are emoji reactions to use in Google Meet. So I can raise my hand, and you can see that here, or give a thumbs up, or maybe ask a question. This is great if you have your students also install this. They can then give you reactions. So if you were doing a live meeting with your whole class, that's a lot of people to have the kids actually talking in the meeting. So you can have their mics muted and they could give you a thumbs up. I understand, I can hear you. So it's a great way to get some quick feedback without having to have an actual kids actually talking throughout the meeting. Helpful Chrome extension in Google Meet is called Grid View. And that is this grid icon up here in the corner. Right now I have it turned off, so it has that slash through it. So when I turn Grid View on, what that does is it's going to show all the participants in the meeting in a grid. So we can see everyone at the same time. So that's a nice feature as a teacher to be able to see your entire class at the same time. You also have options for it to highlight the speaker. You don't see that right here because my mic is muted in Meet, but it will put a box around the person who's speaking. So that makes it a little bit easier to determine who's talking. You can include yourself in the grid, and you can make this just your default view. When you aren't using this, what Google Meet does is it's going to default by showing you the other people in the room. So right now there's only one other cat in the room. So that's what we're seeing here. But you can also pin a camera to your screen. So you can see this little pin icon in the upper right corner. I clicked that on myself, and that's going to keep that picture on the screen. You can also do that and manage your participants in the participant icon. So by clicking on the people, I'm going to see all of the people in the room. I can see who's muted, who's not muted, and I can click on someone and I can now pin that camera if I want to my screen. You can also click on the name and you'll see this little drop down arrow up here. And so for your participants, you can also mute your students or remove them from the room. So that's helpful to know as well. Another feature of Google Meet is this chat box. So when I click chat, I can send a message to the class. We can have a class conversation, so everyone can participate in this chat conversation. And one more Chrome extension that I added to Google Meet is this little checkbox. So you see a little checkbox and 2, that's the number of people in the meeting. The Chrome extension that I added here is called Attendance for Google Meet, and this takes attendance for you for the participants that are in your meeting. So I'm going to click that, and what that does is it takes me to a spreadsheet of all of the people who were in the meeting, and it's going to use the same spreadsheet every time you use this meeting room. So that's a great way to be able to keep track of who was in the meeting, did this student come to the meeting or not. You can take attendance automatically there. And that is your main overview of Google Meet.